Bryn was just a regular human scientist working at the Xenogenetics Institute, a cutting-edge research facility dedicated to studying alien biology. His latest project involved developing a nutritional supplement that could enhance cellular regeneration in extraterrestrial species living on Earth. It was meant to be a harmless, health-boosting formula, something like a vitamin but adapted for alien physiology. Then there was Urani. She was one of the Zelvaris, a humanoid alien species known for their sleek, slender forms and shimmering, silken skin. She worked at the Institute as a cultural liaison, helping bridge the gap between humans and her people. With her long silver hair, luminous violet eyes, and an elegant, willowy frame, she was captivating, though she never seemed to realize it. Bryn and Urani had always been friendly, often working together late into the night. She loved human food, especially chocolate, which she claimed was an earthly delicacy beyond compare. Bryn found her reactions amusing, how her cheeks would flush a delicate blue whenever she tried something too sweet or spicy. One evening, after an exhausting day in the lab, Bryn slumped into his chair, rubbing his temples. "I think I finally got the formula stabilized," he muttered, looking at the small vial filled with an iridescent blue liquid. Urani, ever curious, leaned over his workstation. "And what exactly does this one do?" she asked, her voice smooth as silk. "It's supposed to help with nutrient absorption and cellular growth," he explained, holding it up. "But I need to run more tests." Her luminous eyes flickered with interest. "Humans are so cautious. If I were a test subject, we'd know already," she teased, nudging him playfully. Bryn smirked. "Yeah, well, safety first. I don't want to accidentally mutate someone into a monster." But Urani wasn't listening anymore. She had already plucked the vial from his fingers. "I volunteer," she declared before tipping the liquid into her mouth. "Wait, Urani, no." Bryn shot up from his chair, panic seizing him. She swallowed and licked her lips. Not bad. Kind of citrusy." Bryn groaned. "You weren't supposed to drink that yet." But it was too late. The formula was already working its way through her system. That night, Bryn kept a nervous eye on Urani, waiting for any signs of a reaction. But aside from her usual curiosity and a bit of teasing, she seemed perfectly fine. By morning, that changed. When Urani walked into the lab, something was different. Bryn almost dropped the tablet he was holding. His mind struggled to process what he was seeing. Urani looked flustered. Her silver hair was slightly tousled, and her skin had taken on a faint, radiant glow. But it wasn't just that. Her figure, normally willowy and slender, had filled out. Her research uniform, which had always fit comfortably, now clung to her in ways it hadn't before. The fabric stretched taut, struggling to accommodate new, more pronounced curve. Even her movements seemed slightly unbalanced, as if she wasn't used to carrying herself like this. Bryn swallowed hard, his face warming. Urani." She turned toward him, arms crossed awkwardly over her chest, her cheeks already tinted a deep shade of blue. "Bryn," she whispered, voice breathless. "What did you do to me?" His brain scrambled for an answer. The supplement had been designed to enhance cellular function. But somehow, it had specifically accelerated growth in certain areas. Bryn cleared his throat. "Okay, don't panic." Urani's eyes narrowed. "Oh? Don't panic." She took an unsteady step forward, her balance shifting unexpectedly. Her expression wavered between frustration and embarrassment. This is so uncomfortable." Bryn instinctively reached out to steady her as she stumbled. His hands landed at her waist, and for a moment, neither of them moved. Her violet eyes locked onto his, wide and startled. The warmth of her body pressed lightly against his hands, and Bryn suddenly became very aware of just how close they were. Urani's blush deepened. She let out a tiny, mortified squeak and practically leapt backward, putting distance between them. This is humiliating." Bryn rubbed the back of his neck, forcing himself to focus. "Okay. First, let's confirm the effects. Are you feeling any other changes? She crossed her arms again but quickly dropped them when she realized it only emphasized the problem. My balance feels off. Everything feels heavier. And I swear my uniform is tighter than yesterday. Bryn swallowed again, struggling to maintain professionalism. It's possible the supplement interacted with your Zelvari's biology in a way I didn't anticipate. It must have increased specific growth factors in your body. Urani's mouth fell open. You mean you accidentally did this? He winced. Yes. I guess so. For a second, she just stared at him, expression unreadable. Then she let out a deep groan, covering her face with her hands. I will never live this down. Bryn exhaled slowly. Don't worry. I'll find a way to reverse it. Urani peeked at him from behind her fingers, her blush still intense. You better, she muttered. But deep inside, Bryn wasn't entirely sure how. The next few days were complicated. Urani struggled with her new proportions in ways neither of them had expected. Walking felt awkward, her center of gravity had shifted, and even simple tasks, like reaching for supplies or sitting down, had become a challenge. Every time she miscalculated and nearly lost her balance, Bryn was there, catching her before she could fall. And every single time, she'd turn an even deeper shade of blue, mumbling something about how unfairly attentive humans could be. But the worst part? The way Bryn kept noticing. He wasn't trying to. He swore he wasn't. But it was impossible to ignore how different she looked. He'd always found Urani striking, but now? Every time she walked into the room, his brain short-circuited for a second. And she knew. One evening, as they worked late in the lab, Urani suddenly let out an exasperated sigh and set down her tablet. I can feel your gaze, Bryn. He choked on his coffee. What? She crossed her arms but winced when she realized, once again, that it only emphasized the problem. With a defeated groan, she slumped against the table. You've been looking at me all day. Bryn sputtered. I have not, I mean I have, but not like. He ran a hand over his face, groaning. Okay, maybe I have, but it's not on purpose. It's just different. Urani's fingers twitched against the table. Different, she repeated, her voice quiet. Bryn froze. Something about the way she said it made his stomach tighten. She glanced at him, her expression unreadable. Then, ever so slightly, she shifted closer, just enough that he could feel the warmth of her presence. Humans have a strange way of staring, she murmured. It's intense. His heart pounded. He didn't know what to say to that. Urani inhaled, her blush deepening again. This whole situation is ridiculous, she muttered. I should be furious. But... She hesitated, her fingers tightening on the table's edge. It's not entirely unpleasant. Bryn's breath caught. Was she? Before he could ask, she stepped away abruptly, clearing her throat. Anyway, we need to focus on reversing this. Bryn exhaled, forcing himself to nod. Right. Of course. Absolutely. But deep down, a traitorous part of him wasn't so sure he wanted to. Bryn worked tirelessly to find a reversal formula, but his focus was less than perfect. Every time Urani moved, stretched, or even just sighed in frustration, his brain short-circuited. It didn't help that she had become painfully aware of his reactions, which only made her blush more, and when she blushed, it only made her look more stunning. By the fourth day, Urani had reached her limit. She slammed a datapad onto the table. Bryn, you are hopeless at pretending. He looked up from his notes, startled. Pretending what? She crossed her arms but then groaned and immediately dropped them, realizing, again, that it just made things worse. That you haven't been completely distracted this entire time. Bryn winced. Okay, yes. But in my defense, this is a very unique scientific situation. Urani shot him a look. That is the worst excuse I've ever heard. Bryn sighed, setting his pen down. Look, I'm trying to fix this. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Her expression softened slightly. I know, she murmured. And you've been considerate. He blinked. Really? She gave him a sideways glance. Well, mostly. He rubbed the back of his neck, feeling sheepish. Right. Urani took a slow breath. This isn't something I expected to deal with. And I don't know if I hate it as much as I should. That made Bryn freeze. Wait, what do you mean? She looked at him, and for the first time, she didn't immediately turn away. I mean, she said slowly, you have been more flustered than me, and I find that strangely satisfying. Bryn's throat went dry. Oh. A tiny smile tugged at the corners of her lips. Humans are fascinating creatures. So expressive. So transparent. Not always, he muttered. Her smile grew. No, Bryn. You? Always. For a moment, the air between them thickened with something unspoken. Then Urani exhaled, shaking her head. If I don't get back to normal soon, I might actually start enjoying this too much. Bryn swallowed hard. I could probably slow down the reversal process, you know. Just in case we need more testing. She arched a brow, amusement flickering in her violet eyes. How scientific of you. He grinned, feeling a little reckless. Very. Urani hesitated, then reached out and lightly tapped his chest with one delicate finger. Just don't think I didn't notice that little accident of yours may have been the best thing to ever happen to you. Bryn felt his face heat up. Well. She chuckled, shaking her head as she turned away. Come on, scientist. Let's see if this formula of yours actually works. And as Bryn followed her, he wasn't entirely sure if he wanted it to.